It was only later that Ned, all absorbed in the detail of chess, turned his mind to the remark, "My old lessons in military training." A man of Babe's age had probably fought in the war, the Second World War. When Ned had first asked him if he was English, Babe had replied, "Devil a bit I am," which Ned took to mean an emphatic negative. Babe's voice, however, in accent and delivery, was very English indeed, a rich, fruity, and deliciously old-fashioned sounding English that reminded Ned of old wireless broadcasts. The way he spoke, though, his choice of words and the strange spin he put on familiar phrases, that was somehow not very English at all. It had a stage Irish or Hollywood pirate quality to it. One day he would discover more about him. Meanwhile, 2 months into his training, Ned had an exciting week ahead of him. He had, for the first time, drawn a game. Babe had been the one to extend his hand across the board to make the offer which Ned, in his excitement and with the scent of victory in his nostrils, had turned down. Babe then forced an exchange of queens and rooks, and the game petered out into the draw which it was always destined to be. But Ned had been playing black, and to draw as black was always a positive result. The game of chess is so delicately balanced, Babe had explained, that the advantage of the first move is enough, in tournament play, to ensure that the majority of victories go to the player with the white pieces. Ned knew that this result with black was therefore a turning point. The following day, Babe, playing black, had won easily, and Ned, furious with himself, made assiduous plans that night to do something magnificent the next day. He fell asleep with an idea in his mind that he should try the winnower variation of the French defence, which some instinct told him Babe did not enjoy playing. He awoke with a fully formed sense of how to win implanted in his mind. The plan involved not only the absolute chess of the game, but psychology too, and when Rolf, whose duty day it was, led him out to the sun porch, he was already looking grouchy and underslept. "I shouldn't have lost like that yesterday," he said, without offering any of his usual polite greetings. "You trapped me. It was pathetic." "Dear me," said Babe, straightening the white pieces in front of him. "Did we get out of bed the wrong side this morning?" "Let's just play," said Ned moodily, inwardly praying that Babe's king-pawn would advance, but staring instead at the c-pawn, as if hoping for an English opening or deferred Queen's Indian. With a shrug, Babe played e4, and Ned instantly replied by pushing his own king's pawn forward to meet it. Babe moved his knight out to f3, and Ned moved a hand to his queen's knight, as if resigned to an Italian or Spanish game. Then he dropped the hand back with a resentful tut, and started to think. He took 5 minutes over his second move, the dull, seemingly ultra-defensive and amateurish d6 that marks the French defence. Babe continued to rattle out his pieces in the standard way, and Ned haltingly replied. His heart beat faster and faster as each move repeated the pattern that he had planned the night before, developing into the very line of the winnower that he had prepared. A moment came when Babe had to play with extreme accuracy to avoid a trap that Ned knew would cost him the loss of an active pawn. Babe stopped himself from playing the quick and obvious move, and Ned, his head down, could sense in his field of peripheral vision that Babe's head had turned up to look at him. Ned did not shift, but continued to frown over the board, not revealing anything when Babe, avoiding the mistake, played the only correct move possible. Ned had not banked everything on a cheap, tactical trap as he might have done 2 weeks earlier. In fact, he would have been disappointed if Babe had fallen for it. He knew that his position was good, and that was all that counted. After an hour of fraught and completely silent play, Babe found himself a pawn down and having to marshal unconnected pieces to avoid all manner of tactical horrors. When a position is won, dozens of attacking combinations, traps, and spellbinding sacrifices present themselves to the player on the winning side. Ned was busy considering a spectacular sacrifice of his queen that he believed would force a checkmate in 5 or 6 moves, when Babe knocked over his king and gave a rich, low chuckle. "Ha! Outplayed from pillar to post, you devious son of a mountain whore." "You resign?" "Of course I resign, you dastardly bog, and vice versa. My position's so full of holes it's a wonder the board doesn't fall to the floor. You planned this, didn't you, boy? From the first petulant pout of the lip to the last maddening stutter. Oh, you're wicked, wicked as whiskey."